set rules, parameters, and barriers. So I always say to people that I don't like using my phone in the kitchen or the bedroom because it's more fun to eat and sleep with people.
Right.
So remove technology from places where you can really build up beautiful human bonds with people.
Creating routines in the morning is very good because that helps to calm the subconscious as well and the instinctive part of the mind, right? So routines are really great, but it's great to set a routine in the morning because it sets a precedence for the day, right? And especially if you take charge in the morning, then what you're doing is essentially you're telling your mind and your body that you are in charge, and if the mind and body wants to do something, they need to consult with you first before they do anything. So if you wake up in the morning and then you just respond to whatever is coming your way, then you're setting a precedence that you are not in charge, right? You're just living in a state of just responding all day long.
Let's talk about hygge. That's a funny word, so what does it mean? It's a Norwegian word that roughly translates in English to coziness, and it's more of a mental state rather than a physical one. Hygge is all about comfort and coziness, and here are some ways that you can achieve that feeling in your home. Let's start with clutter. Clutter can really contribute to our stress levels in our home. There's nothing calming about clutter around your house. Walk around your home and identify pieces that you no longer need, no longer use. If it doesn't serve a purpose, why hang on to it? Get it out of there. Or better yet, donate it. Another thing to consider is your furniture placement. We all have a focal point that we enjoy in our space, whether that's a fireplace that we enjoy during the autumn or winter months, or maybe it's the view out your window, or maybe it's artwork that you picked up along the way. Arrange your furniture so that you can enjoy that view. Let's talk about how you cover your furniture. In a previous video, you may recall how we talked about your sofa being the biggest investment in your room and the one piece that you're going to spend the most time on. So you should select a fabric or leather that you love, that feels great to touch, something that you want to take a nap on. Adding comfortable and soft pillows and throws to your space is another great addition to add hygge to your room. Again, remember, the goal is to make you feel comfortable and stressless in your home. Another thing you can do to introduce calm into your space is bring the outdoors in, and the way you can do that is simply by bringing floor trees and plants into your space. Studies have proven that trees and plants can reduce your stress levels. They also add a little color, and it's nature's way of purifying the air, and what's more relaxing than breathing in clean, fresh air? Lighting is another important thing to consider. You can design a room that's cozy and comfortable and beautiful, but if you have overhead fluorescent lighting, it's not going to feel that way. If you're going for that hygge vibe, candles are a perfect way to add a little mood lighting. They've been around for centuries, and it's a great way to add a natural glow and really calm you down.
2009, when I was 28, my mother died and my marriage ended, both in the same month.
Holy cow.
And these two events forced me to look around and start to question what had become my life's focus. And I realized I was so focused on so-called success and achievement, and especially on the accumulation of stuff, the trophies of success. Like, look at me, I have 2 Lexuses, and I have this, right. I have that, I have the bigger house, and
the golf membership, the whatever. You know.
Yeah, the racket club membership.
There
actually.
You go.
Yeah. and so I had these things, and here's the thing I want to get across. So there's nothing inherently wrong with stuff. We all need some stuff. The problem isn't consumption. The problem is this compulsory consumption, buying things because that's what we think we're supposed to do. We've been sold this meme of the American dream. If you get this, then you will be happy, as if there is a template for happiness. And in fact, I think that's one of the bigger problems is we are chasing happiness. I owned a lot of stuff. Did you know the average American household has 300,000 items in it?
No way.
300,000. But I think most of us aren't hoarders. We hold on to a lot of stuff. We hold on to all these supposed memories, right? And I know that's what I was doing. That's what my mom did when I went to deal with her stuff. And I realized that, you know what? Some of this stuff actually adds value to my life, but I don't know what. And so I started small because I had attachment to so many things in my life. I had given so much meaning to my stuff, and I said, I need to try to get rid of some of this. Like, some of it's in the way. I don't know what's actually adding value. And so over the course of 30 days, I just started, I said, I'm going to let go of one thing a day, one item a day, each day for 30 days. And what would happen if I did that?
No technology zones in your home.
Okay.
No technology times and no technology zones in your home. Set rules, parameters, and barriers. So I always say to people that I don't like using my phone in the kitchen or the bedroom because it's more fun to eat and sleep with people.
Right.
So remove technology from places where you can really build up beautiful human bonds with people.
Okay.
And usually it's the kitchen in our homes and the bedroom, whether we watch the TV in our bedroom or whatever we do, let's do that with people. And whatever we do in our kitchens, eating, cooking, these activities which are great for human interaction and bond building, let's do that with people.
And also that's the place, but and also the time also?
Yes, and the time, and set no technology times in your home.
Okay.
Don't to and fro and pendulum between lots of technology and no technology. Build a diet and slowly remove parts of it. So don't start saying, okay, for the next 7 days, I'm not going to use my phone at all. Because all that's going to happen is when you reduce that consumption, you're going to come straight back and want to do it. I always joke about how when I lived as a monk, I didn't eat any sugar for 3 years. Like none at all. And the day I left, the first thing I did was buy myself tons of chocolate and eat all of it. When you starve yourself of anything, your mind wants to go to the other extreme. It's very often a trick of the mind. So one of the things I recommend is once you build your digital diet sheet, set out your parameters in your home and your boundaries, see yourself removing step by step. So don't try and remove Instagram and Facebook and Netflix all at the same time.
Right.
Move one at a time. Make your change a big priority and a small step. Don't try change everything at the same time. So people try and change all their digital habits all at the same time.
Right.
Just do one every week for a month.
Because little things done consistently add up to big things.
Totally. Most of us try and change 4 things in 1 week.
Right.
When all you have to do is change one thing 1 week for 4 weeks in a row.
I love
you'll have
that.
a beautiful result.
We spend a lot of time in this society focusing a lot on what you should wear for your body type or your height or your hair color, your eye color, your skin tone, and I totally disagree with that perspective. I think you should ultimately wear what you want and that makes you feel good. So let's say you are a more hourglass shape. That doesn't mean that you have to always accentuate your waist. That also doesn't mean you can't wear tunics. You can wear whatever you want as long as it really feels like you. So if you gravitate towards skinny pants and a looser fitting top, do it, no matter how tall, how short, or your build. Go ahead and wear what makes you feel good.
I think that's perfectly fine if you like more than one style. So find places where you can have inspiration sent to you all the time, whether that's through Instagram or Pinterest, obviously. With the algorithms, it's so easy to do this. This was definitely my go-to tip back a couple years ago when I did this video. But also there's plenty of other ways to find your style through different inspirations. It could be through art, through music. I know some people actually look for their color schemes through different pieces of art where they can pull different Pantone colors from it and then make their wardrobe match what inspires them through art. There's different ways to do this, and just find what exemplifies you the best and makes you feel the most confident and comfortable in your own skin and in your own clothes. And it will feel like you have this like Superman cape on where you're able to just tackle anything that you have to do for that day.
I saw a quote recently that said, hobbies don't just take our mind off of our stressors, it'll help us meet our work and life challenges. So let's just spread this out a little bit. This isn't just about making you better in your work. How about better in your marriage, better in your parenting, when you've got some sort of release and distraction that is a healthy hobby? So it's everything from playing golf to playing poker to cards to bingo. I don't care what it is. I can keep going, and again, working on a car, a hobby that, I'm going to go work on cars for single moms. Not getting paid for it, but it's a nice distraction, and I see some tremendous value. So it's not always fun, but it is fun, right? It doesn't have to be this wee activity. Just be something that's really, really important to you, that gives you such a valuable distraction. So embrace the hobby. Embrace it. Because it's going to make you well-rounded. Emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically.
If I asked you right now, and be honest, if I asked you, what are the top, 10 most fun times you've had in your life? Do they come easily to you? See, for most people, it doesn't. They're like, well, that was that time that I went on a roller coaster and I jumped out of a plane, or, you know, that time I was at a wedding and I danced like a chicken. You know, like, they really struggle. And partially what happens for people is they just go through life kind of bumbling and crashing around, and they never have any real reflection on what brought them joy, happiness, engagement, enthusiasm, fun. So what I do is when I have a fun moment, at that end of the night, I'm a big journaler, as many of you know. I'm always encouraging you, at the end of your day, journal about things that you're grateful for, things that you desire, cool things or inspiring things you saw people say or do. You know, just journal about your life, about philosophy, whatever it is, but I like to write at night. And I always try to write also a component of what was fun today. I reflect on what was fun. So for me, you know, I've got so many access points, so many references of what was fun in my life. It's just immediate that I know the things that bring me great joy because I've thought about them. So do you have your fun list? Things that bring you great joy and great fun in your life. And you know what those should be? Your to-do list.
A couple things to keep in mind. Number one, raise your standards. Very simple. Raise your standards on who becomes a great friend to you. When I say raise your standards, you choose who becomes a great friend that you want to be friends with. The standards comes over here, you choose who it is. And how do you raise your standards? By being selective on who you want your friends to be. So very simple, be selective, raise your standards, find friends that have common goals, that if you have aspirations, they also have aspirations. Find friends that have common interests. If you like sports, they like sports. You like politics, they like politics. I have friends that are Democrats, I have friends that are Republican, I have friends that are independent, I have friends that don't believe in God, I have friends that believe in God, I have friends that are Christian, I have friends that are Jewish, I have friends that are atheists, agnostic. That part doesn't necessarily dictate my friendship with them as much as if I believe in living a life with character, integrity, and they have that as well. That's values. Values doesn't necessarily mean exact religion, exact political party. That doesn't mean anything. It means common values and common interests.
And when people get to be adults, I think they kind of forget that proximity-based friendships can actually be very good. They're only looking for the meetups. They're only looking for people who share their current interests. But the thing about proximity-based friendships is that these are friendships with people who might expand your horizons because they like different things than you like. Keep in mind that you don't have to have the exact same set of interests to be friends with somebody. And a great analogy for this is your relationship if you have one. I've been with my girlfriend for 6 years, and while we do share certain interests, we also have a lot of interests that the other person doesn't really like. But that doesn't stop us from being great friends, in addition to being in a relationship. So wherever you live, if you find the opportunity to strike up a conversation with a neighbor, take that opportunity. That could just as easily lead to a friendship as an interest-based meetup group.
Well, travel's good for the brain.
How so?
Well, you're out there. You're in a world of new things and new experiences. You're navigating. You're using the machinery of your brain that basically controls your movement across the surface of the planet. You're doing that for all kinds of practical ways and all kinds of interesting, with all kinds of interesting challenges. You got to find your way to the bathroom in French. You got to find your way to the restaurant that has that crazy name. You have to find your way across the city by the metro. And all of those things are challenging and fun and good exercise, not just for you, but for your brain. And one of the most important things about travel is you're outside of your normal, predictable, boring, physical realm. You're now in a place where things are unexpected, where they're continually surprising to you. You just don't understand quite how they work or quite what you're doing or where you're going. And that leads many people to abandon taking the vacation, because it's just too dangerous, too complicated, too challenging. Yeah. Oh, well, to the contrary. I mean, you're in your life in which almost everything you do is predictable. I mean, you get up, you have your strategy for going to work, you know where you're going to get the coffee. You know the way you can sleepwalk. In fact, you do see people sleepwalking in life all the time. You know, you wonder if they're actually alive or maybe zombies. You know, you can't really tell. So, and the simple fact is that life is too predictable for us. It's not really meant to be that way. You know, this is one way that we've changed our world. We've tried to make everything so predictable that we do not really have to use our brain to operate in it very much. So it's really healthy for us to go into a new place where almost nothing is predictable.
You'll learn a 3-step process that will help you figure out who you are. I'm Tim Tamashiro, author of a book called How to Ikigai. You know, most people find it difficult to understand their purpose in life. Ikigai is the map that will help you find it. Ikigai has been around for 2,000 years. It's a map that some of the longest living people in the whole world take very seriously. It only has 4 directions. Do what you love, do what you're good at, do what the world needs, and do what you can be rewarded for. In other words, do more you. You want to know your life's purpose? Just answer these 2 questions. What do you love, and what are you good at? Now, most people can't provide answers to those 2 questions, and why is that? Well, it's because as a human being, your brain is wired to take care of just the basic needs every day. It's contained within something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, more than anything, psychologist Abraham Maslow believed that you want to reach your potential in life. He saw psychology as a science that could help regular people like you and me realize, reach for, and achieve more in life. So he once sat back and scratched his head, and then he leaned his chin against the palm of his hand, and he wondered to himself, if people's basic needs are met every day, then why don't they focus on fulfilling their life's purpose? In other words, if you're lucky enough to have food, shelter, love, security, and success every day, then why don't you focus on reaching your maximum potential? Good question, Maslow. Maslow was curious about the positive potential of people. Through his research, he and his colleagues developed a theory that on a daily basis, humans have 5 needs. And he displayed these needs in the shape of a pyramid. It is called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. For most people, the essential part of each day is spent making sure that they have food and shelter and security and relationships. Imagine a day without just one of those. Imagine a day without food. That's terrifying. Imagine a day without a roof over your head. Yikes. Now imagine a day without security or friends. It's not something we would choose to do very often, but we do it every now and then. Now imagine a day without self-actualization. We do that all the time. Maslow's hierarchy of needs demonstrates that we have 5 daily tasks that bring us a fulfilling life. The problem is that most people only check off 4 of those tasks every day. And at the end of the day, as long as we've checked off those 4 out of 5 needs, we're good. We don't self-actualize. We don't do work on ourselves. And that's why we can't answer the questions, what do I love and what am I good at? So, how can you answer those questions? Ikigai. You'll hear me talk a lot about Ikigai in this YouTube channel because I'm the author of a book called How to Ikigai. Ikigai is the ancient practice of living your life's worth. It's from Okinawa, Japan. And all you have to do with Ikigai is to follow its map. You do what you love, do what you're good at, do what the world needs, and do what you can be rewarded for. If you want more purpose in life, then you got to get out and do more you. Do your Ikigai.